What's up, people of FinTwit? My name's Steve. A couple people have asked about what I'm doing with QuantData, which is this really pretty cool application that I downloaded a couple weeks ago and kind of fell in love with it. So this will be like a little bit of a product review for it. Um, I I don't think I've ever done anything like this as long as I've been on Twitter, but I think it's pretty neat. I think it's pretty helpful. So I just wanted to show you how I use it, and if anyone else is using it, I'd love to know how you're using it. Um, I did. I've never done this before either, but I signed up to be like an affiliate for this. Not that I think I'll make much money or anything like that, but I'm just gonna put my link. And if anybody wants to click on it to download it, I would appreciate it. But um, anyway, that being said, I'm gonna show you how to create some filters because option flow is overwhelming, especially if you're first starting to get into it. Um, and you kind of need to narrow down what you're looking at. So the way that I've been using it the last few weeks is to just zero in on the hottest sector, which in my opinion right now is biotech. Um, and so I'm using it in kind of an interesting way. I have a list, an Excel spreadsheet of funds that I follow. And this was something I did like probably a decade ago, but I'm doing it again now. I think it's particularly useful for biotech. But I follow people like the Baker brothers. I kind of look at what they're doing in their portfolio, and other Cormorant is another fund. Just funds that have good reputations and have performed well over the years and are basically still around after this nasty biotech multiple year pullback. RA Capital is another one run by someone named Peter Kolchinsky, who I think has just been an awesome biotech money manager for a while. And I don't know, a few more. But what I do is I have a spreadsheet of like their top 10 to 20 positions by portfolio weight, and I'm looking for those. I just kind of keep those names in my memory, and when I look at the biotech flow, I'm seeing if if they show up in the flow, then I'm particularly interested. Okay, so how to make a filter on here. Well, actually, first let me go into what some of these things mean real quick if you're not familiar with options flow. And by the way, QuantData is just one of numerous applications out there. I think there's Cheddar, QuantData. There's Black Box Stocks. I think the original one was, oh shoot, the name is escaping me now, but Option Alert, I think it is. But anyway, they all do the same thing. They all track options, option flow. So if you look at this top one, TGTX went through at 3:55 p.m., so 5 minutes before the close today. Somebody sold $12 calls, 192 of them at $24 per contract. They were, sold on the bid. So who knows, maybe somebody held stock and was kind of doing like a covered call. Who knows what they're doing? You don't really know based on one like entry here. But and then if you move over to the right hand columns, you have the expiration of the option that they sold, how much in premium, so basically $460,000, and then the reference is the price of the stock when this option transaction occurred. So the stock was trading at $34.98. And in QuantData, if you tap on this one, you can get a little more information. So it'll tell you if this was marked or labeled as unusual flow. and then was it an opening position as opposed to a closing, someone closing out um, a position. Um, and that's pretty much it. It gives you also on the right hand side the volume for today and the open interest. And then, of course, the IV, implied volatility. I don't really use the other Greeks at the bottom. So real quick, let me show you the filters that I use. So I'm going to, on the upper right hand corner, you click that. And here are the filters that I use. So this top one, which I gave a really terrible name, Steve Health, but that is set to monitor the biotech industry and the drug manufacturer. So if you get to add filters to a filter group. So right now there's basically two filters added to this one group. And so you can click on industry, and then you can click on the operator and you can say is or is not. So I chose is, and then you can click on industry here, and you can see all the different industries that you can choose from. So I chose biotechnology, drug manufacturer general, drug manufacturer, specialty, and generic. And then the second filter is premium. I only care about transactions that are where the premium is over $200,000. Normally, I have this set to like $50,000 because I want to see a little bit more. But you have to set a limit, or you're going to be overwhelmed with the information. And then, do you see the activate button there? You have to click that to make this filter active. Otherwise, it won't start filtering. And then in the upper left, you click the arrow to go back to the option flow screen. And then here it shows you, what it's filtered. So you can see one of the big stocks that I've been following because there's been a lot of flow on it. And also it's going straight up is Eli Lilly. You can see at 359, there was 440 calls that went through on the ask. It was a sweep. So an option, you got to read up on what an option sweep is if you don't know. I won't go into that here. And then the premium, this was $67,000, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's how you create a filter. But I want to show you one other thing that's important. So I'm going to, again, click on the upper right-hand button. And I made another filter under this VKTX one, right? So this one is the filter that I use to look at historical option flow. So I named it terribly. Okay, so ignore the name of this filter group, VKTX. I'm actually filtering on a single stock here. So in this case, I put the ticker TGTX in, and I want to see all premium or all transactions with premium greater than 200,000. And the third filter is the expiration date is greater than April 1st. Okay, so if I click activate, now I go back and okay, so this will show you on a single stock, you can just kind of scroll through all the flow for multiple days. So in the case of TGTX, I've been watching it the last few days, and it's just doing an amazing amount of option flow. So let's just scroll through this a little bit. On May, and again, these are only transactions, I think, over 200,000. So you can see on May 3rd, geez, there was one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions over 200,000, including this 1.44 million transaction, which looks like it was, when it says spread tide cross, I think you got to kind of read up, and you can go into the help to get a better explanation of what that means. Like, is it some sort of spread? So you got to look at the documentation a little bit for that. But anyway, you can see if you scroll through how much TGTX is getting, like how much attention. And this is from what I've seen in like last 3 weeks that I've been kind of using this heavily. This is a lot of flow for one name, especially just a little biotech that's not like a Tesla or a Microsoft. This thing's getting a lot. So I don't know, that could mean something. Maybe it might get taken out. Maybe there's some news about a drug in the pipeline that's about to come out, and the word has spread on the street. So anyway, that's kind of looking at a single stock, and you can scroll through the history of what's been going on. And then like here's one that I have set up for the gold mining industry, gold and silver, premium over 50,000. So you can see Barrick Gold today had a few transactions on the ask. This one's not as exciting, but anyway, that's something I've been looking at. That's another sector I've been looking at lately. And then this sweeps above the ask only, again, terribly named, but this filter is pretty helpful. So I'm looking at premium that's $100,000 or over, and I'm screening out the ETFs. So you can say display ETFs is false, and then also I'm screening out the indices. So essentially, I only want to see stocks, and on the last one, I want to see transactions that went off above the ask or below the bid, because that means the buyer or the seller, in the case of below the bid, just put in basically like a sweep order to try to, it didn't matter to them what the cost was. It's almost like equivalent to a market order. They're just going above the ask, and they want the contracts as soon as possible. So if I activate that one and then go back, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so you see a lot of Tesla here. Okay, there's an Apple which went off 1 minute before the close. Somebody sold 170, the 170 calls, 371 contracts below the bid for $109,000. See if there's anything interesting in here. Well, there's a very large one. $2.85 million in premium. 10 minutes before the close, somebody bought 205 puts above the ask. It looks like it was part of a spread. And so you can see the time. Maybe this was all one spread. So these 4 rows here all went off at 350. And they're all labeled spread leg FLR, which I need to read up on what that means. I don't know. But they're very large. 6 million, 7.42 million, 2.85 million. They're all below the bid puts. So I'm not sure what that is, but that's a ton of premium. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this product. I've found it very helpful. Again, I've just been mainly like 90% of the time just looking at the biotech sector with it. I think it makes a lot more sense when you're looking at smaller stocks. There's too much activity going on on stocks like Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon. You can't. I don't think it means much when you're looking at option flow on those kind of stocks. But if you see option flow on small names, on a biotech stock, and it's just repeating for days on end, and it doesn't normally get that kind of attention, then something's definitely going on. So anyway, I hope this helps. Let me know if you're using it in a different way, or if you have any questions. I'd love to know. Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.